Hello, fans and friends of INTPs. I am your fellow INTP C-Note, aka Christian Rivera. I'm a multimedia designer and creative calibrator. Today, I wanted to talk to you about alone time for INTPs. What does that mean? What does that really look like for an INTP? Because one of the challenges that we face when we start to learn about our personality type is thinking about what introvert versus extrovert actually means. Sometimes we think of introvert or extrovert as people-focused, whether we need to be around people or avoid people. That's typically the kind of cliche example of what an introvert or extrovert is. So you might think of, oh, okay, I'm an INTP. That means I'm an introvert. That means I just don't like people. And you may already know that to some degree, but that's not completely accurate either. Being an INTP does not mean that you don't like people or you should never like people. It certainly just means that for the most part, you don't like your introverted thinking process being interrupted by people. And that can be a challenge. That for us is the biggest challenge, because when we get into our flow state, we need everyone else to go away, right? So that is when our superpower comes out. And one of the biggest challenges of being an INTP is realizing what actually gives us energy. Because it's not just about being by ourselves and sitting quietly in a space or playing video games or doing something passively. We still have to do work. For us, doing work on the projects that give us life, that give us excitement, that give us energy. That is really what resting is for an INTP, which sounds counterintuitive for us to rest by doing, but for us, doing things cognitively is what gives us our energy. That allows us to recharge. So when you're by yourself in your space, consider what it is that you would like to be working on. Are there projects that you would love to be facilitating and working through and doing research on and theorizing with, doing thought experiments in your brain while having uninterrupted time to yourself. Now, that also doesn't necessarily mean you need to be quietly in your place by yourself. You could go out into the world and have full autonomy for your decisions and your choices. That is another way to practice TI with extroverted intuition mixed in while you're going out into the world. So you could do that by yourself. You can go explore your city. You can go explore a new place with your headphones on, walk around a mall, go do something where you're out in reality. Because practicing introverted thinking doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do it by yourself. And that's the tricky thing, is like alone time means internal alone time. It does not mean external alone time. You don't necessarily need to be shut off from the world. So you can go out and run errands and do things that you need to do. As long as you're having choices in your autonomy, that's going to give you some recharge. So for me, that's what I end up doing, is like I'll go for a walk to a coffee shop, and if I'm making choices for myself, that's when I'm going to get a lot of recharge. And in the process, working on mental experiments and figuring out the next path, the next videos that I want to talk about here on YouTube, or the next podcast I want to record on DOPEamine, or whatever other projects I'm working on, as long as I have the opportunity for uninterrupted thinking time, that's going to give me the recharge. So last week I had a lot of really great interactions with some friends, and we had a lot of life-fulfilling information coming in and out of my brain, and it was very, very satisfying. I absolutely loved it. But by the end of it, really today, I woke up this morning feeling like, oh, you know what? That was fulfilling, but I was in someone else's house, and I was around other people where I had to care about their needs, and I was in a situation where I wasn't just focused on what I needed and what I wanted to say and do, but I woke up this morning and it's like this weight is lifted, where you're just suddenly like, oh, right. I need to take care of myself. I need to go do what I want to do. I finally now have time to breathe. And I think for some INTPs, that's going to be obvious to you. Like, it's going to be obvious that you don't want to be around people. But as you navigate through life and you get a job, you start to have a family, you start to have more people in your life regularly, it's going to be a challenge to realize what specifically you need and what you need to recharge. So that's the reason this video exists, because before, when you were growing up, you may have realized that you had a lot of opportunity to spend time by yourself, most likely. And if you didn't, you can take advantage of that now by knowing what it is that you need to recharge. But when you were a kid, you may not have realized specifically what was recharging you. You may have thought that just simply being alone was recharging you, but you were also doing projects and thought experiments and all of this stuff and not realizing that that is exactly what was fueling you. So knowing this information is going to be very powerful for you as an INTP to know that A, you don't need to not be around people to recharge, and B, well, you just need to not be interacting with them. You need to be able to be in your own introverted thinking space. And, B, it's about doing something specifically towards what it is that you need to recharge, working on your project, doing thought experiments, and doing something that is autonomous, that you have full control over. Whether that's going for a walk yourself, go and get some groceries, run some errands, and do things that you have full control over, and you're not living at the whim of someone else's needs, because that is essentially what can stress an INTP out after a while when we have to attend to someone else's needs for way too long. Because for us to recharge, we have to spend complete solo time working on our needs. But that doesn't mean needing to be inside. That just needs to be that we're tending to what we need. That's what that means. So I hope that makes sense. If there's some confusion about that, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. If you liked this video and other videos, you can check them out below to see what else I've got here on the channel, and you can subscribe and like the video. That would be great for visibility. I would appreciate that. And share this with your favorite INTP in your life. Or if you are an INTP, let me know how this resonated with you. Also, this is in service of promoting a course that I'm working on down below in a link called Cosmic Calibration for INTPs. bit.ly/Cosmic INTP is also what you can type into your browser to check out that course. It is 15 45-minute segments of me talking about the INTP experience, me as an INTP, how I can help you as an INTP, and help us navigate the world that subverts all of the stereotypes of INTPs and allows us to really shine and really appreciate existence and show gratitude and be positive and create rad things and have awesome thought experiments and put good things out into the world. That's what this is all about. So if you would appreciate, and hopefully my hair is not as distracting as it feels for me to you, I hope you appreciated this video. Again, leave some love, leave a comment, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you next time. I'm C-Note, and see you guys later. Bye.